From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, Montana Governor Greg Gianforte weighs in on school mask mandates across the state. The state health department issued an emergency rule urging Montana school districts to let parents decide if their students wear masks or not. Well, there's a lot of confusion over that news today. Gianforte issued the rule saying that school districts must give students the chance to opt out of health mandates. But as MTN's Mike Dennison reports, education officials say they're already doing just that.
The rule issued Tuesday by the State Department of Public Health and Human Services says if a school district in Montana is requiring students and staff to wear a face mask to slow the spread of COVID-19, it should allow students options for not wearing a mask or face covering. It says reasons for not wearing a mask can include physical or mental health concerns, religious beliefs, or moral conviction. But Lance Melton of the Montana School Boards Association says schools across Montana already are required by federal law and guidance to consider student wishes not to wear a mask. However, he says that does not mean students can demand to be at school without a mask. Melton says other options could be made available, such as remote learning or a face shield instead of a mask. Amanda Curtis, president of the union representing public school teachers in Montana, said the Gianforte administration is spreading misinformation about both what schools are doing and the effectiveness of masks. She said the governor should support local control by school districts instead of grandstanding for the benefit of a vocal minority of anti-maskers. The Gianforte administration rule said research is not conclusive on how much masks reduce the spread of viral infections. But Melton said schools are following and should follow the guidance of the National Centers for Disease Control, which has recommended children and staff wear masks indoors in school. And we should point out that local control is already at work here. Montana's large urban districts with more students and tighter quarters are requiring masks indoors, while most rural and smaller districts are not. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Thanks, Mike. Now that emergency rule will be in effect for no more than 4 months from Tuesday. Well, I spoke with School District 2 Superintendent Greg Upham late this afternoon. He says the district has reviewed the rule with legal counsel, and because it is not a permissive rule, it is a permissive rule, not a mandatory rule. He says we will stay the course with our policy of mandated masks. He went on to say we feel it is our safest for our students and staff and community as a whole. Well, also today, School District 2 leaders in the Billings Education Association met for 6 hours inside the Lincoln Center as they work on a new contract for this school year. Well, no agreement has yet been reached, with one big issue at the heart of that negotiation. Q2's Casey Conlon reports.
It was the Billings Teachers Union's goal to have a new contract in place for this year by the end of last year. That didn't happen. It also didn't happen this summer. We're now 7 days into a new school year, and the major holdup for a new contract is dealing with a promise longtime teachers are counting on to be kept.
Every year you sign a contract that you feel is going to be promised to you at the conclusion of your career. The school district and school board want to make significant changes to that package that would be a dramatic change.
Eliminate benefits that teachers who have been there for 30 years have been accruing.
That is correct.
SD2's benefits and severance package is well known as a great recruiting tool across the state. Teachers are given a certain number of discretionary days each year. Those that are unused or rolled over, a teacher is paid out for them when they leave the district or retire. For 30-plus year employees, that could be tens of thousands of dollars.
It is something that they plan their lives around. So when you agree to something year after year after year for sometimes decades, it's disconcerting to have them talking about not fulfilling their end of the bargain that you've sort of made with them.
Edward, who is on the union negotiating team, says the district has softened in their initial stance of wanting to decimate the package. We have reached out to SD2 Superintendent Greg Upham, but he has not yet given us a comment. Robison says the administration's goal in meetings is to solve a years-long, multi-million-dollar deficit.
They would like to slow the projection of costs, and we as a bargaining group have made what we feel are steps in terms of slowing those costs down.
No teacher wants this district to go bankrupt. No teacher wants this district to be financially strapped. We want it to be sustainable long-term into the future.
One idea being thrown around: honor the commitments made in previous contracts, but negotiate a more cost-friendly package moving forward. But Edwards says that would create a rift within their own ranks.
All teachers kind of have to be under the same kind of system, or the union doesn't work very well, right? So a different benefits package for different teachers very quickly divides staff.
Both Edward and Robinson believe a deal is close. Halfway through today's meeting, Robinson told Q2 there were just 2 issues to go, but that they were big issues. After the longest 18 months of their professional lives, teachers continue to grow wearier every day.
The workload and the expectations has just been overwhelming. And I do feel that the morale of teachers, especially at the end of last year, was dismal.
There's no question. It's a very difficult thing to think about starting the year without a new contract. Teachers feel like their voices aren't being listened to is the biggest frustration.
Casey Conlon, MTN News.
Robinson and Upham released a joint statement after today's meeting. It states that they are working together to solve issues and are making progress. They, however, have not yet scheduled a next meeting date. Well, a group supporting the school board and healthcare workers is expected to show support with a parade around the Billings Hospital corridor tonight. This as Saturday Live, the district's biggest fundraiser, is canceled for the 2nd year in a row. Here's Q2's Mitch Laggy with those details.
As COVID-19 cases continue to rise across the state of Montana, a group of parents in Billings has organized a parade scheduled for Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. to let healthcare workers, school board members, and the superintendent of public schools know that they support them. After a group had demonstrated in support of optional masking in Billings schools last week, Billings' mother of 2, Clementine Lindley, organized a different Facebook group that supports the school board's decisions and healthcare workers as they battle the virus. At last check, the group had 1,400 members, according to Lindley. The group will parade around the hospital corridor and Lincoln Center in downtown Billings as a socially distanced way to show its support.
As a group, there is a collective group of humans who sincerely believe and trust our administration and that our elected officials were elected to do a job, and we believe they're doing their job to the best of their ability. And we really want to show them that they have support and that they're not just there's not just angry people or frustrated people in our community, but there are people who do support them.
In more COVID news, it was announced Tuesday that Saturday Live will be canceled for the 2nd year in a row. The event was scheduled to take place September 18th, but was called off due to concern of COVID spreading among attendees. The event is a fundraiser for the Billings Schools and Billings Education Foundation and usually draws thousands of families. Executive Director of the foundation, Kelly McCandless, said in a media release that they're still holding a raffle for an SUV and will finalize details on a fund run at a later date to still keep the fundraiser alive. In Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Mitch. Now, this is a look at that parade route taken just a few moments ago. Once again, parents and community members are showing support for Superintendent Greg Upham and School District 2 board members. Mitch Laggy will have a full recap of that parade tonight at 10 o'clock. Well, as the mask mandate debate continues, COVID numbers climb to heights not seen since early December. Today, the state reports 890 new cases and 13 additional deaths, including 1 victim here in Yellowstone County. That death, a woman in her 60s, is the 11th county resident to pass away in August, making this the deadliest month since February. The state has recorded 96 deaths this month. 1,800 Montanans have passed away since the pandemic began. Of the nearly 900 new cases today, Yellowstone County reports the most with 193. That's 80 more than any other county. There are currently 3 counties with more than 800 active cases. Yellowstone leads the way at 892. And we're now joined by Chief Meteorologist Ed Mcintosh. The weather is changing right now, and that means we are going to cool off, Ed.
That considerably. As we take a look, there's a lot going on the map here. A cold front starting to approach from the west of Billings. Where you see the blue arrows, that's where the winds have been increasing through the afternoon, and those winds also increasing our fire risk. Now, all those shaded areas are showing us where we have smoke across the region. In fact, there's been considerable amount of smoke and has held back the temperatures a bit. But as the front moves through, notice those winds, that's the blue arrows, start to shift down out of the north-northwest, but it's also taking a lot of the smoke along with it. So it'll continue to push out of the region and create a few storms across northeastern Montana through the evening hours of tonight. The net result? A little less smoke and a whole lot less warm. We're going to give you all the forecast details coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Well, the city of Billings has announced some changes to its regular trash collection schedules. Q2's Brandon Warren will tell you about it.
The city of Billings will soon be making changes to the Residential Extras trash collection program.
It's the extra trash bags and boxes and just normal household garbage that doesn't fit in your black cart or your black bin in the alley behind your house. Currently we're doing that weekly, and starting next week that's moving to a monthly collection schedule.
The changes are coming in part because the city simply does not have the staff to keep doing it weekly. If your trash pickup day is on Monday, then the extra day will be the first week of the month. If it's Tuesday, it will be the second week of the month. If it's Wednesday, extra day will be the third week of the month. And if your trash day is on Thursday, extras day will be on the fourth week of the month. If you have a larger item you want to be picked up on extra day, the city asks that you call them and let them know ahead of time.
Pick that up on your extra day, but call us to let us know that you have it, and we'll get it scheduled for you.
With the small lack of staff and to help make Billings a cleaner place, the city has one small favor to ask.
You throw away trash, whether it's in your 300-gallon bin in the alley or whether it's in your black cart that you put curbside, bag it. And bag it for a couple reasons. If you don't bag it on a windy day, it could potentially end up in your neighbor's yard when we come to collect it. And if you don't bag it on that same windy day, it could end up on our neighbor's property once it gets out to the landfill. So I ask that you just bag your stuff before you put it in your cart.
The city asks that all your trash be put out by 6 a.m. the morning of pickup. In Billings, Brandon Warren, MTN News.
Thanks, Brandon. Now the changes will begin on September 6th. Well, it's a connection Billings will always have to the U.S. Navy, a ship named after the Magic City. As you know, that ship was commissioned in 2019. But as Q2's Andrea Lutz shows us, there's now a living display right here in Billings. Right now on display at the Billings Public Library, an entire wall that pays homage to the USS Billings. This, of course, the first Navy ship that bears the name of Montana's largest city. Take a look. There you see the command staff and captains, executive officers who are with the USS Billings. And something really cool for all of you model lovers out there, a 36-inch model of the USS Billings. This is where you can really get in and see what this ship looks like. Now, of course, the ship was commissioned August 3rd, 2019 in Key West, Florida. This wall is dedicated to telling the stories of the ship and its crew. And the plaques right here are recognizing all of those sponsors that helped even fund all of the commissioning events that happened a couple years ago in Key West, Florida. This is on display here at the wall. Some really neat stuff that you can come and take a look at. Now, just in case you're wondering about the history and wanting to learn a little bit more, in the future, there's going to be a QR code that you can come and take your phone to and scan it. It will give you all of the history of the USS Billings from construction all the way to its christening. In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News. All right, thanks so much, Andrea. Now, the group Friends of the USS Billings helped unveil the wall today. Well, up next on tonight's MTN 530 News, right here on Q2, In Your Health Matters, learn how the COVID virus is showing up in wastewater. We break down the data, so stay with us.